Every morning, millions of people walk into a coffee shop. They order a hot drink, pay with a card, and consume a highly addictive central nervous system stimulant. At night, millions more walk into bars to drink alcohol. We treat our relationship with mind-altering substances like a modern habit, a byproduct of busy cities and modern stress. But the reality is much stranger, because ancient humans were seeking escapes long before the first city was built. In fact, our drive to alter our minds is older than civilization itself, and it might be the actual reason we built the modern world. Let's start 13,000 years ago in Mount Carmel, Israel. A group of prehistoric humans called the Natufians lived here. They didn't live in cities, they didn't have farms, and they didn't write, but they had a brewery. In 2018, archaeologists found stone mortars with residue of brewed wheat and barley. It was beer, and why this matters is mind-blowing. For a century, historians believed we invented farming to make bread. We assumed agriculture was about survival, but the Natufians were brewing beer before they started farming. This has led to a radical theory: beer before bread. It suggests we didn't settle down, build villages, and domesticate grain to feed ourselves. We did it because we wanted a steady supply of alcohol. We didn't build civilization to survive. We built it to party. But alcohol was just the beginning. For thousands of years, humans have used plants to enter entirely different dimensions, and we have the receipts. In 2020, researchers were studying California's Pinwheel cave. On the ceiling, they found tiny chewed-up balls of plant material stuffed into crevices. When they analyzed them, they found a plant called Datura. Datura is a highly potent, dangerous hallucinogen. Around 500 years ago, native artists would chew this plant to enter a deep trance. And as their minds melted, they painted the swirling red spirals they saw onto the cave walls. We think of cave art as simple historical records, but in many cases, it was a visual diary of a psychedelic trip. The first artists weren't just painting the world around them, they were painting the world inside their heads. Now let's move to ancient Rome. In Rome, opium was sold openly in markets like we sell aspirin. But the real luxury was a plant called Silphium. Silphium was a wild herb that only grew in North Africa. It was used as a medicine, a spice, a contraceptive, and a mild stimulant. It was so valuable that Julius Caesar kept thousands of pounds of it in the treasury. Its shape was so iconic that the Romans stamped its seed on their coins. But there was a problem. You couldn't farm it. It only grew in the wild. And the Romans loved it so much that by the 1st century AD, they had eaten every single plant. It was the first time in human history we drove a drug to complete extinction. A plant so powerful that today we only know what it looks like from drawings. This deep history has led to some wild theories. The most famous is Terence McKenna's stoned ape hypothesis. McKenna argued that millions of years ago, early human ancestors on the African savanna ate magic mushrooms. He claimed the psilocybin forced their brains to rapidly double in size and sparked the invention of language, art, and religion. Essentially, magic mushrooms created the modern human. It is a legendary theory on the internet, but modern science has disproven it. Evolutionary biologists agree that our brains grew because of cooked meat, tools, and social cooperation. There was no psychedelic shortcut, but it shows how desperately we want to believe that drugs are part of our origin story. So, when did ancient humans start taking drugs? The answer is, since the very beginning. We have always sought to escape the default state of consciousness. We used plants to speak to gods, to heal wounds, and to build communities. It is a universal human drive, and it is not going away. So the next time you walk into a coffee shop, remember, you aren't just starting your day, you are participating in a 13,000-year-old ritual.